with yet another edition of The Interview. Hello there, how are you all doing? It's another episode of The Interview, and my name is Salim Moses Alkali. I hope everyone is doing well, and you're welcome to another beautiful episode of The Interview. This week, again, we have a giant in the house. On the set of The Interview, we have a guest that everybody would really want to meet. He is vast in what he does. He has traversed the first facets of Nigeria, and in the course of the interview, I will be unveiling to you our guest for this week. Before I go up close and personal with our guest for this week, I'd really would want to run down a abridged version of the profile of our personality for this week. So our personality for this week is from a royal home. He is a giant in the power sector. He has worked in all facets of the power sector. He has virtually worked in every unit of the power sector's finance and accounts department, giving an opportunity to understand the finances and operations of the sector and related matters. Our guest this week is very vast in all facets of the power sector, having worked in the three major sectors of the industry, that is the generation, the transmission and distribution. I have the privilege to introduce to you a man who has been a principal manager of the National Control Center in Osogbo and well acquainted with the allocation of power on the grid to parts of the country. He has done so much that we would want to hear directly from him. So today on the set of the interview, I have none other but Ibrahim Musa, and he is today on Lina TV on the set of the interview. You're welcome to Lina TV, sir.
Thank you very much.
How have you been, sir?
I've been doing very well. Very well and comfortable.
I know what it took me to bring you down from Abuja for this interview, and I am sure that the viewers out there will also be glad to hear from you, because I know you have a lot to share with Nigerites and Nigerians as a whole.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Let us start this way, sir. Briefly, I know I have done a bit of your profile, but let me hear from you. Let us hear from you directly. Who is Ibrahim Musa?
Ibrahim Musa is the Amadam Borgu, General Manager Finance and Accounts in the Transmission Company of Nigeria. You have said it all, and I will also promise that listeners will be excited and thrilled, because I am a very vast person when it comes to the power sector, and when it comes to traditions too, I am good. I'm the Madami of Borgu Kingdom. You hear Borgu, a lot of people don't know much about the Borgu Kingdom.
We're going to get there, sir.
Fine, so?
Yeah, so let's just hear a profile of you first, then we'll dive into other matters.
I am a graduate. I had a bachelor's degree in accountancy, master's degree in business admin. I am a fellow in major financial institutions, Chartered Institute of Taxation. I'm a fellow.
Wow.
Nigerian accountants, that is ANAN. Yeah. I am also a fellow, so I've been doing very well. And then, you don't end learning. I learn every day. And then in the power sector, I am privileged. I have worked, as you told the listeners, generation, transmission, distribution.
Oh, wow.
And then in the corporate headquarters, I headed almost all the units: taxation, budget, foreign operation, and then even the market funds, where all collections are accumulated and then distributed to. That is all these people participated in the power, whatever.
All right.
So.
All right. There's a lot to be said and heard from you, and we are blessed as Nigerians to have one of our own, a stakeholder, to be holding positions that matter, because of course we know that the Niger state is the power state. Later in the course of the interview, we're going to be talking the power sector. But before we go there, let us even know where you come from. I know that you are the Madami Borgu, and so please let us in on the Borgu emirate in Niger State.
Yeah, as you said, I'm a prince from the Borgu emirate. The Borgu kingdom has been a kingdom that is beyond others in historical substance. A lot of people don't know about this. In the British Gazette, some 100 years, when they came here, they rated formidable kingdoms. We were number 5. Sultan of Sokoto 1, Gwandu 2, Borno 3, Alafin of Oyo 4, Borgu 5. So we have been in the limelight. And why I said the kingdom is beyond others in historical substance, the fact that even Lord Lugard took his first trip to Africa because of Borgu. There were inconsistencies as to who colonized the Borgu kingdom, either France or Britain. So he had to take a trip to Africa, treaties were signed, and then now France took part of us. We have some of our brothers in Nikki. Then Britain took. So we found ourselves in Nigeria. And if you do your primary school, you do histories. You know the history of Mongo Park. Yeah. Who was sent maybe to discover the river. He died in the Busa Rapids. So Borgu Busa is one of the, I think, the first 6 towns to appear on the world map. So this is why I said a lot of people don't know about the kingdom. And then we have some of our brothers in KB, we have some in Kwara, we have some in the Republic of Benin. So it's a kingdom that is heavy in historical substance.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's a pleasure to have you on our set, sir. Having heard all of these things, I don't think that this episode can end in one episode. Anyways, we're going to talk about that later, because I know that you have a lot of substance to dish out to Nigerians and of course the world globally. Now, sir, having heard the background that you come from, now the Borgu Emirate is a well-known emirate in Nigeria and of course in major parts of the world. What have you been doing as a major stakeholder coming from Borgu to ensure, of course you even also have the Kainji Dam there and all of those things. What is it that the power sector, because I know we have not started talking about the power sector, but what has the power sector done to give back to some of these generating, locations that particularly we're talking about the Borgu, because you are a prince from that kingdom?
Great. The first hydro dam that is converting kinetic energy to electrical energy, the premier started in Borgu. That is my home. We are not fortunate to have any from either Borgu or Niger State, but I know the present government is going to do something good. And we, the JAGAB, that is the president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we turbaned him as the Jagabon Borgu. We prepared him for the current duty. And see, one good thing about the Borgu kingdom is when you have a turban, you have the invincible armor. And the president has been somebody we saw with these transformational powers. We know he is going to change this country, he's going to give the country a brand. This is why my late uncle, His Royal Highness, the Emir of Borgu, Alhaji Hali Udantoro, turbaned him some 16 years back and told him to go in and change this country, and he has started doing that. So we know with time we'll have these considerations, and then I know the country will give back to us, Borgu and Niger State. And we have a governor too who is proactive and very robust in thinking, and I saw him transforming a lot of places. I know he is going to give his support in this dimension.
Okay, all right. That's good too. Listeners, we're still on the set of the interview, and we have the Madam Borgu on the set this week, and he is Ibrahim Musa, and we're talking about the power sector and all that concerns Nigerites and of course Nigeria as a whole.
Anyway, the power sector, I think you will have to have an understanding of the intrigues. You see, when you are outside, you don't know what the settings are. The power sector currently, I think we are doing averagely well. And let me come home. Niger State has about 75% stake in the power sector, about 75, because we have the 4 hydro dams in Niger State, Jeba, Kainji, Shiroro, and now Zungeru. So this country relies almost 75% on the hydro. There will be no instance of there's no gas. As the rivers flow, powers get generated. So the Niger State, I think, is like the mother to whatever it is in the power sector. And you see, it requires a lot of planning. At inception, Nigerians never knew we will have industrial developments to this level. So when we were planning the power thing, it was not robust then. Now with the growth, we require more. But now the government is investing heavily with, we're collaborating with Siemens. And in no time, I think, with the present President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, I'm sure we're going to have a very good direction. And then in 6 months, 1 year, we will start seeing improvement. I'm sure you would have observed certain little improvements in the power sector. Then power, we have the hydro. And let me even give a better detail. Power was having generation, transmission, and the distribution. The generation, we have the hydros, we have the thermal stations where we use gas in generating. The transmission wheels such generated powers to the distribution, and then distribution will have their links directly with the customers. Now we metamorphosed from national electricity, it was one time PHCN. Now the privatization set in, and Gencos and the Discos were privatized. But there's no country that will privatize her national grid. So the transmission remains with the government up to this moment, and there's a very big wisdom in that. There's this intangible asset, we paid billions so that you don't go building things or doing anything under the grid.
Okay.
Now, if you go ahead to privatize the grid, you are compromising the security of the country. So no government will do that. So that is why up to this moment, the TCN remains with the government.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's sir, of recent.
Yeah.
I don't know, in our lay understanding.
Okay.
Yeah, we have noticed the improvement in the stability of lights generally in the country, particularly in Niger State. Of course, because I know that we have a dogged governor who is not even ready to understand why we shouldn't have power in Niger State when we are housing the major dams that is generating for the country. But recently, I think more often you keep hearing that the national grid has broken down or collapsed or whatever, and at some point it's becoming so persistent. Why so? Now, maybe Nigerians will want to know, having an expert.
You see, if you look at it in a very broad way, there are a lot of issues. There are a lot of challenges. No power sector person will want this light to go off, because as the light comes on, we make our money. But there are a lot of things, and then a lot of awareness that we should give Nigerians. You see, if you drive through villages today, some villages like bulbs like this, these halogen bulbs, you see a lot of them on in the afternoon.
Yeah.
A lot. When you put these bulbs on, you are denying a lot of people. Because the grid, like sometimes we generate 500, sometimes we generate 4,000, sometimes above 4,500. A lot of these bulbs, when a research was carried out recently, we realized if you don't need those lights and you put them off, you can have enough megawatts to power about 2 states. Yes, this is what people don't really understand. And sometimes the National Control Center Oshobo distributes and directs the direct Kano take 20 megawatts, Niger take 10. Sometimes some operators will go beyond whatever. That is, you're expected to take 20, you want to take 25. By the time you try to take what is more than what is in the grid, there will be a collapse. So that is the meaning of the collapse. And when it collapses, it takes time for these generators to come on again, for the wheeling, and then so we averagely, I think, is the power sector that is really doing well. If you look at railway, you look at, we are still trying. And as I've said, we have gotten a president that has foresight. We also have a governor. I know in about a year we will see these transformations.
Amen. That's our prayer as well. And we want to commend the efforts of the power sector. We pray that you step up and also do more than we are seeing already. Enough of the power sector now, sir. And let us talk about your state.
Okay.
Niger State is yours. And most especially that you are a prince from a very significant region of the state. How would you rate the living standard of Nigerites, as it were? And what do you think, as a stakeholder and somebody who has wealth of experience? Let us start from your wealth of experience to see if there are suggestions to better the living condition of Nigerites. Sometimes we should try and be fair to ourselves.
you see governors come, governors go, right? Niger State is about 7 states in one. Niger State is about
why,
7
why
states.
so? Why do you say so? So that a lay person can understand the statement.
If you put Rivers, Bayelsa, Enugu, Anambra, if you put all these 4 states together, you drop them into Niger State will swallow them and will still have a lot of space. Now allocations.
By landmass,
yes.
Okay.
Now when you look at allocations, when these allocations come, what magic would you do to put maybe from Zuba to Kainji is about 400 and something kilometers.
Yeah.
And when you look at allocations, they are almost the same. With somebody who will have just 20 kilos, you drive 400 kilos through a state. You understand that?
Yeah.
So in most cases, these allocations they're not enough to attend to most issues in the state. So, and the living standard, things like that are yardsticks. So there's no way, I don't know, we have done our level best to ensure maybe more states are created in the state, but I don't think is not really workable. And this is why, you know, when roads are bad, they affect a lot of things. So there's no way the living standard, I wouldn't know. I'm not an expert in that.
Okay.
But then I think Niger State is just too large. I told you about 6-7 states in one.
Okay, so I want to halt you from here so that we'll take a break,
okay,
and then we'll be back. You're still watching the interview on the set of Lina TV, and my name is Ibrahim Musa, and I still have the Madam Borgu in the set of the interview, none other but Ibrahim Musa. I'll be right back after this short break. So this is where we will halt for this week. You see, when you have a personality that is vast in knowledge of so many, virtually everything that he has as an experience, you cannot even help but have 2 episodes of the program. This is very rare on the set of the interview. So we're going to be having the Dammadamin Borgu come back in the next episode to conclude what he has started. Please keep a date with us, as we will continue with our conversation with the Dammadamin Borgu next week on the set of the interview, every Saturday by 7 p.m. Thank you very much. Until I come your way again. Bye for now.